The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Right, let's now talk about something called blog4nz. A whole bunch of bloggers getting together all over the show to assist Christchurch, really, and help with its recovery. But to explain a whole lot more about it is Craig Martin. He's from Indie Travel Media. He's also one of the stars of the Indie Travel podcast as well, one of the best and greatest travel podcasts around the world. G'day there, Craig.
G'day, Glenn. How are you?
Very, very well. Could you explain the concept of blog4nz and exactly how it works?
Yeah, what we're trying to do is basically recover some tourism for New Zealand after the Christchurch earthquake. And we're doing a worldwide social media event. So from March 21 to 23, we're asking independent bloggers and big travel publishers around the world to promote New Zealand, to write new stories about New Zealand as a tourism destination, and generally to promote the country as a place to come. I mean, the big message is, after all the footage of the Christchurch earthquake aftermath that got beamed around the world, that New Zealand as a whole doesn't look like that. New Zealand's open, people can come.
That's actually a really good point. So people, it's actually a real thing that people have actually been put off not only coming to Christchurch, but possibly New Zealand as a whole as well.
Yeah, I've heard anecdotal evidence in some of our big tourism centres of some operators having 500 beds cancelled in a 1 month period.
Yeah.
So people in tourism are really kind of feeling the effect of it. And with tourism being 10% of the GDP, more or less, it's a big part of keeping New Zealand employed and keeping money coming in to fund Christchurch's recovery.
I suppose it's also at a time when there's been this great economic downturn as well, and you could say that there is less travel going on from affluent tourists.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the whole market's been topsy-turvy for the last 18 months, and I mean, I'm not industry. I'm someone who's been traveling around the world for 5 years and got into independent travel writing. But from what I've been hearing from people that I've been speaking to that do run tourism and travel businesses, it's been all over the place. And this is something that we, as Kiwis and as an international community of independent travel publishers, that we're interested in trying to reverse.
But as a travelled person yourself, if you had heard that, let's say, a big earthquake and a tsunami in Japan, would that put you off going there?
Yes and no. I mean, Japan's kind of special because of the nuclear issues around that. But if I was, I understand that Christchurch isn't in Auckland, and that Tokyo isn't in Sendai, and that New York isn't in Los Angeles. We're talking about reasonably large countries here, and what affects one place won't affect another. The thing I'd be concerned about as a traveller is my presence in the country helping or hindering their recovery effort? Am I taking away resources that could otherwise be used, or am I paying back into a country that could really use the money right now?
Yeah. Have you found yourself in travelling around the world in a situation where a natural disaster has occurred?
Yeah, we were in, my wife and I and some friends were in Chile last year when the big earthquake hit in Concepcion. We were about 600 k's away from the epicenter, but still where we were, we had about 90 seconds of quakes between 5.5 and 6 on the Richter scale. So it was certainly the biggest earthquake I've ever been in, and the effects on that, the tsunami that hit the coast, it was devastating for Chile. And because we were there on the spot, because our Spanish was pretty rubbish, to be honest, we were unable to help. There wasn't the organised volunteer response that there was maybe 3 weeks or a month later.
Yeah.
So we decided the best thing we could do was to get out, really. We looked at options for volunteering and what we'd be able to do to help. Really, the only thing we could do with our skills and our Spanish was to give money and get out the way. So that's what we decided to do.
Yeah.
And so it's always balancing these things. You feel like you want to do something, but how can you be of most help.
Yeah. Well, that's the point. And so I guess this concept of blog4nz is about also education as well, about saying, oh, this is where Christchurch is, this is how it is in relation to New Zealand, this is how certain parts of Christchurch are running at the moment, and would you say it's about telling stories as well?
Yeah, I mean, good writing is always about telling stories that people connect with, and travel writing's, of course, no different. There is, I guess, an educational aspect to it, but because of the way the internet works, stories that get written next week from Monday to Wednesday and get published next week are going to be kind of around for a good couple of years with the long tail influence of search engines. You know, you put in a particular phrase that you're after, these stories are going to be popping up. So the main concept here isn't that we're trying to kind of do some kind of apologetics or talk about Christchurch even specifically, but rather promote New Zealand as a whole and New Zealand as an excellent place to come. Yeah.
Well, you've got the blog and a kind of a hub going on at indietravelmedia.com, but also the Facebook page as well. This being, of course, a big social project, facebook.com/blog4nz. And you're looking at input from all over the world, I gather.
That's right. We've got, currently we have 150 people confirmed they're going to be publishing on their websites, and that number's growing every day. This project only came about 7 days ago, and so it's all been a grassroots effort from four of us Kiwis here in New Zealand, and we are just putting out the word through our personal networks and contacting people that we know that would have a voice, have a site, and are interested in helping us out.
Yeah.
So it's going to be big. I mean, I think we're going to see over 1,000 new pieces of content, both writing, video, photo essays, published about New Zealand in 72 hours. So it might very well be the most influential bit of social media promotion that New Zealand sees this year.
Great. All right. Well, go and check it out. The Facebook page again, facebook.com/blog4nz. All the deets and details up there. Craig Martin, thanks so much. Indie Travel Media, as we head to check out your projects as well as the Indie Travel Podcast .com. Nice one.